Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel.
Peace, family. It's your brother Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to Night School. Every night here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel, we host Night School. We break down the most controversial topics, the most engaging subjects, the most contested conversations going on in the world today. First of all, I apologize for that loop there. We're having some tech difficulties if you haven't noticed, but I think we got them worked out. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. That's number one. And hopefully y'all can see me loud. And well, I don't know if you can see me loud. Hopefully you can see me clear. I guess the Southern hoodie is loud. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for watching Night School. I apologize for the delays. We're working out some tech issues here, really some sound issues. So you being able to hear me is a big deal. I apologize once again. Let's get the story going. First of all, how about them Philadelphians? That's right. If you didn't know, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Washington Commanders yesterday to earn a trip to the Super Bowl. I don't know how many trips to the Super Bowl that is. It's their the Phillies' fifth trip to the Super Bowl. We lost the last one, won the one before that, lost the one before that. It might be the fourth. I can't remember. But either way, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl with a chance to win their second ever Super Bowl title. I don't watch the NFL. I haven't watched the NFL game in many years, so I'm not. Shout out to the Birds, though. It's not their fault. But what I would say is shout out to the Philadelphians. Usually after a major sports victory, you see rioting, you see cars getting smashed up, you see people breaking large amounts of public property. But you know what? That did not happen. My city is growing up. They can't keep pulling that Santa Claus stuff out their ass. That's right. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Philadelphian fans are known for an unfortunate incident way back in, I think, 1968, where we may have thrown snowballs at Santa Claus. And ever since we threw the snowballs at Santa Claus, everybody thinks we're bad fans just because they built a jail cell underneath Veterans Stadium. They think that we are lawless. But it's unfortunate because it ain't real, man. We're just passionate fans. Last night, you saw fans climbing literally up the street poles in Center City, Philadelphia. They usually grease the poles in downtown Philadelphia so that we don't get too crazy, but they seem to let people go. Now, last time we won the Super Bowl, I think somebody may have eaten some horse feces, something wild. And also, let's be honest, these are white people. Black people we get excited. We celebrate and then we go home. I didn't watch the Super Bowl victory, but I was in my house and I knew we won because I heard the gunshots. That's a nice Philadelphia victory, at least in black people neighborhoods. But downtown, man, they was literally eating horse feces. I was there for the Phillies victory. I was very happy about that. Again, people climbed street signs. People got drunk. People were wilding a little bit, but nothing too crazy. So I'm hoping that if Philadelphia wins the Super Bowl, if they find a way to beat the Kansas City Chiefs this time after having lost to them before, that maybe, just maybe there'll be no more incidents as well. So shout out to Philly. Somebody said, you don't watch NFL for moral reasons, so why the change? I've had a moral quandary also after about NFL and enjoying my Eagles. It's not a moral quandary for me. I stopped watching it in support of Colin Kaepernick. It was really that simple. I stopped watching it. And I hated the NFL owners' responses to Colin Kaepernick. I felt like he was blackballed and conspired against. And after that, it was just racial incident after racial incident. There was the race norming by the NFL. There was just all these things that made me not watch. So at this point, I don't even know if it's a protest as much as I just made a decision. I don't want to watch it. And that could change at some point, Like I said, I didn't watch us win the Super Bowl. I didn't watch us lose the next Super Bowl. So I mean, I've missed so many of the big moments, and now it feels kind of low stakes. Like, who cares, right? Like, I don't miss I don't miss it. So that I guess that's why for me, I just don't miss it. But I don't have any judgment for people who watch it. I'm not out here like, yo, y'all need to not watch it. It's not like that. It's not like, apartheid South Africa or BDS or something. It's more like it's just not what I do. Ooh, Lord, you ever leave a cup of coffee on your table since your last episode and not realize it till right now? Whew, I damn sure won't fall asleep with that going on. We're gonna get to these stories in a minute, but I see some of you kind of making your way into the room, as it were, and so much. I didn't realize how many Philadelphians watch the show here. Also, how many haters there are. Jazz LP, don't think I didn't see what you said. Don't think I didn't check out. Jazz LP, Dallas' finest, said y'all gonna lose this one too. Imagine being a fan of Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys. By the way, if you don't know a lot about Philadelphia, you should know that in sports, there's nothing a Philadelphian hates more than Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I boo Dallas fans in person. It embarrasses my wife. She gets so embarrassed. She's like, Mark, why are you booing? I walk up to people, literally boo them, give them the thumbs down, all this stuff. In person, I don't care if I'm in the airport. I don't care if I'm walking down the street. It's quite the scene. So you have to understand, for context, I hate we call them cockroaches, Dallas Cowboys. So, but this is why. Dallas ain't got nothing to do with the Super Bowl. They got nothing to do with the playoffs, and yet they over here hating, saying we're gonna lose. And by the way, for the record, the Dallas Cowboys, every team in the NFC has made the NFC Championship since the last time the Dallas Cowboys have. Now that the Commanders made it, so they're pretty much just losers. Dallas said, I'm sorry, Bullet the Bunny said the only thing I dislike more than a Dallas fan is a New England Patriots fan. That is, I get it. I don't hate New England more, especially since we beat them in the Super Bowl. I don't hate New England more. I actually like Tom Brady. Whereas the cockroaches have nothing redemptive to say, but I get how, depending on your era and depending on where you live, depending on what era you watch football in, I can see why you wouldn't like New England. It totally makes sense to me. Right, and this idea of being America's team is yuck. I like the Steelers, and I'm from Pennsylvania. Like, the Steelers were once that team, and I don't hate them. It's kind of just, anyway, it's a whole other story for another time. Rolando said, I only watch for the halftime show unless it's J.O. or Justin Timberlake or Maroon 5, in which case I'm Helen Keller to the BS. Wow, there's so many things in that answer, but I will say Maroon 5 didn't deserve that. Maroon 5 did not deserve that stray. Let me just say that. Shout out to Adam. I love Maroon 5. I love Adam Levine's voice, but that's just me. All right, well, I guess we should get on to these actual stories. It's the same cookie. Yes, they are, Karen. They are literally the same ones. They are the same ones. That's all they're good for. All right, let's get to these stories, y'all. There's so much going on in the world. I think that one of the big stories that I wanted to make sure that we caught today was Donald Trump has paused funding for HIV prevention. And now this isn't like an awareness campaign. Let me be very clear. The United States has halted nearly all of its global health funding with the inauguration of Donald Trump as president. That halting of funds, the immediate halting of funds, includes PEPFAR. PEPFAR is the President's Emergency Plan for HIV, or for the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. That's what it stands for, which is a program that was created by George W. Bush in 2003 to prevent HIV/AIDS, and it's been wildly successful. You can hate George W. Bush, you can call him a warmonger, you can call him a war criminal, you can call him an imperial commander, you can call him a liar. All of it's true, but he also came up with a great HIV/AIDS prevention program. PEPFAR gives medications to over 20.6 million people. It's literally the thing that keeps people alive. It's also literally the thing that prevents HIV/AIDS from being spread or transmitted, however you want to say. And according to the State Department, PEPFAR has already saved the lives of 26 million people. This is one of those rare programs that everybody in Congress supports. It has bipartisan support. Democrats like it, they love it. Republicans like it, they love it. And yet Donald Trump cut it. We found this out on Friday, a few days ago. The State Department issued a cable putting into action the January 20th executive order from President Trump that will halt basically all U.S. foreign assistance for at least 90 days, pending review of all programs. So that means for the next 90 days, almost all aid programs are cut. There are some exceptions. Yeah, military financing for Israel is at the top of the list. So yeah, so no, we can't fund HIV/AIDS prevention. But we can continue to fund Israel. We can give military financing for Egypt. But we have to stop PEPFAR. Now, this is a program that is solely funded by the government. And it's stunning. It's stunning. That's all I can tell you. It's absolutely stunning. It was so stunning that people said, well, they don't mean PEPFAR. When they say they're cutting all programs, they don't mean the HIV/AIDS programs. They're talking about more controversial ones, more political ones. Well, according to NPR, they spoke to one of their anonymous sources at USAID, and they confirmed that it 100% applies to PEPFAR. That's literally the quote, 100% to PEPFAR. Now, other people have also confirmed this, right? That the stop work order does not exempt global health programs. Now, you can hope that they issue an exemption quickly, but if not, then these programs are cut immediately. This isn't a small thing. Now, you may be saying, why would Trump do that? He's a monster, but he's not an idiot, or he's an idiot, but he's not a monster, one or the other. Or I would say he's both an idiot and a monster, but that's neither here nor there. The reason why they're going to do it, according to Tammy Bruce, who's a spokesperson for the State Department, they said that the U.S. is, quote, no longer going to blindly dole out money with no return for the American people. I'm going to say that again. That the United States is, quote, no longer going to blindly dole out money with no return for the American people. That is the argument. Now, let's say that the premise is correct and that the US, American people get nothing for this. Why would you not want to stop people from getting HIV/AIDS? Why would you not want to stop people from dying and suffering? Why would you not want that? But the truth is, the American people do get something. We all get something. We all get something when you don't, or rather when you do stop the transmission of HIV/AIDS. We all benefit when people get life-saving treatment. We all benefit. It improves our health outcomes. It puts less strain on the hospital system. It stops people from getting sick. I mean, there are practical and general, just moral reasons why this is a. It's shocking to me that I have to explain why people not dying of HIV/AIDS is a good thing. I don't get why this is controversial. I don't get why this is challenging. I don't get why the Trump administration is doing this. Now, it is possible that they will change their mind. They will do it about face. But what is more likely is that they will do nothing without pressure being applied. That until we step up, stand up, and say, hey, enough, that this could go absolutely unchanged. Baby Kate says they still think it's a gay cancer. I mean, there probably is a sentiment of homophobia underneath this that makes it permissible among the people who support Trump. I don't think that this is necessarily the Trump campaign being homophobic in particular. I don't necessarily think that they're saying, oh, this is a gay disease. I mean, I don't think that's where they're going with this. I think it's actually less thoughtful than that, less cruel as well, but less thoughtful than that. In that I think they just aren't paying it. I don't think they care. I think they're just cutting very broadly and don't give a damn who pays the price. They don't give a damn what's at stake. They just want to say, hey, we're cutting and we're saving, we're spending, we're slashing costs, and we're going to win. But that other piece of it wouldn't shock me. I don't want to say that that's what it is, but it wouldn't shock me if that's what it were. And it's crazy that this is what we're dealing with, but y'all, this is the reality of the Trump administration. I know some of you are still romanticizing a Trump presidency. Before the election, some of y'all were saying, oh, well, you know, it won't be bad. Trump will be great. He won't be bad for Gaza. He won't be bad for our pocketbooks. He won't be bad for our economy. Everything will be fine. People are dying because Trump is president. Just like under COVID, Donald Trump was president and people died. I need y'all to understand that people are dying and they will continue to die. And the idea that they're blindly just cutting everything is accurate, but they found a way to say, hey, wait a minute. We still gotta give Israel some money. They say, oh, you know, we can't cut funding for Israel. Oh, we can't cut military funding for Egypt. And please understand, the military funding for Egypt is just security coordination with Israel. Please understand that that when they're talking about Egypt and supporting the Egyptian military, they're talking about Rafah, right? They're just talking about policing Palestinians. But I don't want to belabor the point. But please understand that this is where we are. This is where we are. All right. Another interesting story that I don't find any joy in at all. It may seem like it. My face may not reflect this, but I don't feel any joy in this. An Indiana man who was recently pardoned for his participation in the insurrection of January 6th, the riots at the Capitol, he was shot and killed during a traffic stop. Now, this is wild, right? I mean, Donald Trump just pardoned these people. I mean, he literally just pardoned these people. I don't know if you remember this because it's been a long time, you know, in Trump years. But last week, a week ago, the day that Donald Trump became president, he pardoned about 1,500 people. And he commuted about the sentences of about 14 other people in connection with the Capitol riots on January 6th. He commuted all of them. He issued a full, complete, and unconditional pardon to all other individuals convicted of offenses related to events that occurred at or near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. This was the statement that he said. He was very clear about this. People were disgusted by it, including police. This is one of those rare moments where the law enforcement agencies, I mean, literally, you had police unions saying we can't endorse Donald Trump as an organization anymore because he pardoned people who didn't just tear up the Capitol, who didn't just stage a coup or an insurrection to the U.S. government, but they also beat up police. They also attacked police. That don't go well with police, even if you're Donald Trump. 140 police officers were injured. This was not a small thing. Well, one of them, his name is Matthew Huddle, 42 years old, got pulled over by police at 4:15 p.m. And for whatever reason, they wanted to arrest him, and he resisted arrest, and he had a firearm on him. An altercation took place between Mr. Huddle and the police officer, according to the Jasper County Sheriff's Department. They say an altercation took place between the suspect and the officer, which resulted in the officer firing his weapon and fatally wounding the suspect. Now, they're going to do a whole investigation, yada, yada, yada. But the man was killed. Now, prior to being pardoned, just so you understand the context, this man, Matthew Huddle, pled out in a deal with federal prosecutors in August of 2023. He pled guilty to entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds. He was sentenced to 6 months in federal prison, followed by 12 months of supervised release. He already got a sweetheart deal. But he couldn't keep well enough alone. Couldn't leave well enough alone. Now, you got to be a pretty big piece of shit for me to be like, well, the police might have been onto something. I'm not endorsing what the police did. I find in general that police use excessive force, and they de-escalate instead of de-escalate these incidents. But you're talking about a guy that staged a whole insurrection. You're talking about a guy who was part of a whole attempt to overthrow the U.S. government. A couple of you are asking me to post a picture of this man. You know, I've been trying to show fewer videos, but I'll show you the man. This is the man right here. His name is Matthew Huddle. You'll be shocked to know he's white. Like, I'm guessing that's what y'all was asking for. Well, Mr. Huddle pulled the police, was pulled over by the police. They had an interaction. He had a gun. The police killed him. It's hard for me to give him the benefit of the doubt. Generally, somebody gets killed by police, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't assume that they did something that required lethal force. But I mean, this guy is a MAGA Republican white guy, and they shot him. They found a way to shoot him. They found a way to kill him. It's something. It might support the theory, just saying, it might support the theory that those J5 rioters were crazy. That it might support the theory that they weren't just innocent people who got caught up, who are overly enthusiastic, that these weren't people who hated law and order, who hated structure, who hated rules, who hated the government. Because that's what they're trying to say. These were just good old-fashioned Americans. These good old-fashioned Americans tore up the Capitol. These good old-fashioned Americans tried to overthrow the American government, which wouldn't be the worst thing to do, except they were trying to overthrow it to make it more racist, to make it fascist, to make it anti-democratic. They were trying to force Donald Trump into office even though he lost. They were trying to stop the confirmation of votes. This is who these people are. And despite the attempts by Donald Trump and the rest of the MAGA public relations team to make them seem like they're normal, nice, fun-loving, spirited, good old-fashioned boys, the truth is what it is. And the truth is that these were crazy, violent, lawless people. Or will the Trump people now suddenly become critics of law enforcement and say, well, the police, you know, they're known for overreaching. You know, the police are known to use violence. Police probably used excessive force. The police probably. Now, all of a sudden, y'all anti-police. Y'all got a critique of the police state. Now, all of a sudden, y'all anti-carceral. Or will you accept that these people are garbage? So then the question becomes, let me not say they're garbage, because I don't mean it in that way. And I don't want that to be misunderstood. No one is garbage. No human being is garbage. What I mean is their behavior is garbage. Their attitude is garbage. And it's unfortunate. It's truly, sincerely unfortunate that this is how they're being treated. No, it's really not. It's not. You break into the Capitol. You damn near got killed trying to break into the Speaker of the House's chamber, and now you're getting killed by police. Look, I don't support the police, but I don't doubt that the police in this case needed to use lethal force. It's just too many coincidences. Sorry, buddy. So this is one of the times where I just ain't got no outrage left. I just ain't got no outrage left in me. All right, y'all, let's move on to another story here. Ali Abu Naima has been released from prison. That's right, y'all. If you don't know the story, you should. You absolutely should. Let's talk about this just a little bit. The executive director of the Electronic Intifada, his name is Ali Abu Naima. If you don't know Ali Abu Naima, he is a brilliant, literally a brilliant Palestinian-American journalist, someone who really holds the line. You know, when I think about him or Stephen Salaita, I think about people who really, truly hold a political line. If you look on Twitter, you'll see that he's tweeted this. He's confirmed now that the Swiss authorities have released and deported him after holding him for 3 days. People have been online screaming "Free Ali" for 3 days now. Anyway, Ali is the executive director of the Electronic Intifada, which you can find online. And he says that the Swiss government detained him because of his stance on Palestine. He writes, "My crime, being a journalist who speaks up for Palestine." In fact, let me pull up Ali's page so you can see for yourselves. I don't want there to be any confusion about what happened. So I'll pull up his actual page. You can see here that pinned on the screen is Ali Abu Naima, and he writes, I'm free. I wrote this on the plane and I'm posting it just after landing at Istanbul. On Monday evening, I was brought to Zurich airport in handcuffs in a small metal cage inside a windowless prison van and led all the way to the plane by police. This is after 3 days and 2 nights in a Swiss prison, cut off from communication with the outside world. In a cell 24 hours a day with one cellmate, not even permitted to contact my family. This is a big deal. 3 days and 2 nights in a Swiss prison, cut off from communication with the outside world. In a cell 24 hours a day with one cellmate, not even permitted to contact my family. On Saturday, in a police interview in the presence of my lawyer, they accused me of, quote, offending against Swiss law, without ever telling me what crime I had committed in Switzerland or listing any charges. As far as I know, I haven't been charged with any crime whatsoever, and I was held in administrative detention. Side note, administrative detention, being held without charges, is one of the primary ways that Palestinians are punished within the Israeli apartheid system, particularly in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Being held on administrative detention means that you could be, in the Palestinian context, held not just for 3 days like Ali was, but maybe held for 3 months or 6 months. So this is a very sadly, quintessentially Palestinian or anti-Palestinian way of being treated. On Sunday morning, they took me from my cell for questioning my Swiss Defense Ministry intelligence agents without the presence of my lawyer. And they again refused to allow me to contact her or my family. I refused to talk to them without my lawyer and told them take me back to my cell during my imprisonment. By the way, shout out to him for doing this, because a lot of times when you get locked up in that cell after day one or maybe hour one, you like, I'll talk to whoever, I'll say whatever, I'll do whatever I want home. Give me home. And that becomes the primary goal, and you don't care about how you get there. But no, he said, take me back to my cell. He said, during my imprisonment, I refused every meal and every cup of coffee or tea they offered me, except the last meal after I knew I would be going home. No food, no tea, no coffee. He said, I accepted only water, which is the right of every human being. You know, a lot of people talk that prisoner shit. A lot of people talk that hunger strike shit. A lot of people talk that discipline shit. But when you're in the belly of the beast, when you're in the dungeon, how you react is telling. All of this was after I was abducted off the street around 1:30 p.m. on Saturday while on my way to the Palestine teach-in by undercover agents, handcuffed, forced into an unmarked car, and sped straight to the prison. My crime? Being a journalist who speaks up for Palestine and against Israel's genocide and settler colonial savagery, and those who aid and abet it. I came to Switzerland at the invitation of Swiss citizens to talk about justice for Palestine, to talk about accountability for a genocide in which Switzerland too is complicit. But while I was hauled off to prison like a dangerous criminal before I even had a chance to say a word, the Israeli president, Isaac Herzog, who declared at the start of the genocide that there are no civilians in Gaza, no innocents, received a red carpet treatment in Davos, a carpet soaked in the blood of the more than 47,000 known victims of the genocide and the thousands more still under the rubble, or who died of deliberately inflicted starvation and denial of medical care. And on this very day, Netanyahu freely travels to Poland to make a mockery of the Auschwitz commemoration, despite an outstanding ICC arrest warrant. Remember, y'all, Poland said that they would make an exception for Netanyahu. Like, basically, they won't arrest him if he comes to Poland. That is the perverse, unjust world we live in. This ordeal lasted 3 days, but that taste of prison, was more than enough to leave me in an even greater awe of the Palestinian heroes who endure months and years in the prisons of the genocidal oppressor. More than ever, I know that the debt we owe them is one we can never repay, and all of them must be free, and they must remain our focus. The police gave me my phone back only at the gate of the plane, so I'm only seeing now the extent of the overwhelming support and solidarity from all over the world. I'm deeply grateful to each and every person who stood up for me. I'm especially grateful to my lawyer, Dina Rawel, and her team, to our friends in Zurich, who I learned afterwards demonstrated outside the prison, to my family and my colleagues at EI, Electronic Intifada, and so many others. I honestly had no idea what was happening outside that concrete room. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to tell the whole story of what happened. Perhaps and an Intifada live stream the next day or two, because I think it's important for people to know the depths to which their Western so-called democracies have sunk in the abject service of genocidal Zionism. Right now, I'm glad to be on my way home. I'm looking forward to hugging my mom and dad, taking a shower, and sleeping in my own bed. Journalism is not a crime. Speaking up for Palestine is not a crime. Standing against racial genocidal Zionism is not a crime. Say it with me. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Those are the words of Ali Abu Naima, who is a real blessing to us, an extraordinary person who I've had endless and boundless love and respect for. But now, today, that respect has grown even more, which I didn't think was possible. There's not much to add here. Ali broke it down. He told you what happened. But he's making it very clear, very clear, very, very, very clear that there is no space for grace in critiquing the systems and the structures that lead to outcomes like this. In other words, this is an evil system. This is a system that rewards Netanyahu for a bloody genocide. This is a system that that watches and witnesses this and does nothing, and yet watches the protesters of the genocide get criminalized, watch them get caged. And what you just saw happen to Ali Abu Naima happens every single day inside of Israel, happens every single day inside of the occupied West Bank, happens every single day inside the occupied East Jerusalem, happens every single day in Gaza. What happens? What happens is people get disappeared. They get snatched up. They get criminalized. They get held for administrative detention, which is just a loophole to be able to put people in cages with no criminal justification, no legal justification. And then after doing all that, they let you go. The whole point of this is to scare you. It's to intimidate you. It's to make you back down. It's to make you feel like the state is unbeatable and therefore you might as well not even try. It is an attempt to undermine the resistance. But that's why we have to stand up. Shout out to everybody that protested for Ali. Shout out to everybody who marched in front of that prison. Shout out to everybody who tweeted and posted and talked. This is so important. So important. So important. We stand in boundless, unbreakable solidarity with Ali Abu Naima here at Night School. And if there's anything we can do, we will. I will be reaching out to him. I will be asking him how else I can support. But just be on the lookout, y'all. When you go to these protests, when you go to these conferences, when you stand up and speak out, you are being watched. You are being targeted. Don't think it's sweet just because you're in Switzerland, because it ain't. Because it ain't. Someone says, Mark, does what happened to Ali give you pause about international travel? It does. I don't really do much international travel anymore. I stay here in the States. I do my work. I write from the house. I refuse to be intimidated into not traveling, but I also want to be pragmatic at this stage in my life. The idea here, though, to me is that not that we shouldn't travel, not that we shouldn't stand in solidarity and show up for people literally, but that we have to have our eyes wide open. Again, undercover cops snatched him up, put him in an unmarked car and took him somewhere. You got to keep your eyes open. You got to travel in bunches. You got to be prepared for this. You got to have contingency plans. You have to have a chain of communication. There are a lot of things you have to do to make sure that this, if it does happen, that we're prepared for it. Anyway, Tabitha Brown. Let's get to this story before we go. As you know, Target recently made an announcement that they will be rolling back its their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. That in and of itself is a bizarre choice, right? Why are you announcing this? But they did. They said that their specific initiatives, like hiring and promoting more women and members of racial minority groups. That includes LGBTQ plus, veterans, folks with disabilities, and even recruiting diverse suppliers. All of it, they're saying they're not going to do anymore. Now we know why. It's the political climate. They don't want to be seen as quote unquote woke, which is just white racist secret agent talk for nigga. They, like many companies, announced their DEI initiatives when it was au courant, when it was popular to do so. They announced that they were down with the cause. Some companies announced they were down with the cause and showed up with no money. They never followed through. Others followed through, and now they're cutting. Target is one of the latter. Enter Tabitha Brown. She has worked with Target since 2022. She's partnered with them on swimwear collections, home goods collections, hair care, cookware, food, all kinds of stuff, including her brand Donna's Recipe, right? Well, they said they cutting it. They said they cutting it the way Walmart is cutting, the way Amazon is cutting, the way McDonald's is cutting, the way Ford is cutting, the way Harley Davidson is cutting, the way John Deere is cutting. They said we cutting. And so people said, well, if y'all cutting, we boycotting. If y'all cutting, we're boycotting. This was the response. Well, Tabitha Brown said, hey, everybody, slow down. Before you boycott us, before you boycott Target, I want you to think about something. And so Tabitha Brown says, let me see if I can pull this up for y'all.
In a tough week, right? And baby, it's been a tough 2025 and we are still in January. But I know many of you are asking and have asked and sent me messages about the recent DEI announcements at Target as well. And as disheartening as it is for me, I'm not the only one affected by this, right? It's for everyone who is a woman-owned business, minority-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses. It's for so many of us who work so very hard to be placed into retail, to finally be seen and approved for retail, because contrary to whatever the world might tell you, it has been very hard for Black-owned businesses to hit shelves, right? Which is why it's such a big deal when we do finally land inside of retail. So it is definitely heartbreaking to feel unsupported, right? However, I am in business in multiple ways, with Target, with Walmart, and Amazon, right? I sell Donna's Recipe, my hair care products, right, are on Amazon. They're also in Target. And of course, I have a huge partnership with Target. I sell my seasonings at Walmart. I do business all over, just like many other people. And what I can tell you is, if we all decide to boycott and be like, no, we're not spending no money at these organizations. Listen, I get it. And if that's how you feel, honey, I 1000% get it. But so many of us will be affected, and our sales will drop. Our business will be hurt. And if any of you know business, it doesn't just happen overnight where you can just go take all your stuff and pull it off the shelves. There's a process, and then you got to Like, where you gonna put it? You got to have a place to store it. That's money, right? You got to have another place to sell it, which is almost impossible sometimes. And even if you sell online, it's a process when it comes to business. And everyone does not have the funds or the means or the availability, the space to house their own products, right? But the thing that concerns me the most, and I want you to hear me and hear me well, if we all decide to stop supporting said businesses and say, I can't buy nothing from there, even the businesses who were affected by the DEI ban, right? What that does is you take all our sales and they dwindle down. And then those companies get to say, oh, your products are not performing. And they can remove them from the shelves and then put their preferred businesses on the shelves. And then what happens to all the businesses who've worked so hard to get where they are? Then what happens, right? Now, I know that something that could solve it is ownership of these big corporations, right? It's a long way to go there. There are amazing companies like the Village Market in Atlanta, right, who support small businesses, and you can go in there and there's some amazing things that you can buy, but it's one store and it's very small. We're talking about mass market. You can't build that overnight. Do we all sometimes have these big dreams and aspirations to do that? Absolutely, right? But it is easier said than done, but it's not impossible. But until then, and in order to get there, we unfortunately have to play the game. And in playing that game, we got to be smarter than the ones who think they're in control, okay? And I say that to say, don't allow trying to be mindful with how I say this, because I want God to give me the right words, but don't allow foolishness to take us into separation and weed us out. Do you understand? Because sometimes that's what they want. And in times like this, they're telling us that. Okay? So as frustrating as I listen, as frustrating as the whole situation is, as frustrated as I am, as all of you are, we still got to be smart. Now, you can still go into those stores if you choose to and buy specific brands that you want to support and let the other things, right, not get your money. But be very specific. There's so many women, right, that have worked hard to be a woman-owned business. Donna's Recipe is two women, me and Gina Wu is my business partner. We are self-funded. We're self-funded. And we are on shelves in limited doors at Target, right? Other companies, right? There's a Black History Month is coming right now, and all of these brands are about to be showcased, some of them for the first time. And of course, they would do something like this right now, but they still need their moment. They still need our support. Only if you feel like you can and are willing to. I ain't telling you what to do. I'm telling you what, as a business owner, what we still need until we can get to another place, right? And I don't know when that other place will be. I know for me, I'm under contract. I'm gonna give it to you 100. I got another year. Then I make a decision. Okay. So many other businesses are just starting. They're just getting in. This is their big break to go to the next whatever phase of their business there may be. We have to have understanding and compassion for each other and not be in an emotional state, but also a smart state. Because if we start doing I'm not shopping there, and it's our businesses that are in there, That's their way that they will clean us out and replace us and say, well, your business is not performing. That's what people want. We can't give them what they want. Okay? I hope that this is making sense for somebody. And I know it's a long video, and I know
it's not making sense to anybody. Not anybody who thinks this is dumb. This is ridiculous. And look, and I like Tabitha Brown a great deal. And I admire so many things about her, and I'm inspired by so many things about her. And so I was a little bit surprised to see this response, although maybe I shouldn't have. I've never heard Tabitha Brown speak out on these kind of political issues, these type of economic issues, specifically these types of labor issues before. So it's always telling if someone speaks out about labor only as it pertains to their wealth. Effectively, what Tabitha Brown is saying is you can have a boycott, but don't boycott the Black people. Don't boycott the women. Don't boycott us, because, you know, that's what they want you to do. They want you to fall into this trap, and then we get divided. Don't be so emotional. There's a lot of condescension in this. Although it's shrouded in certain kind of flowery, loving, self-help, spiritual language, it's still like, don't be dumb, y'all. Y'all don't know what y'all doing. Y'all so angry. Y'all getting wound up. Don't be dumb. Keep buying. This is, and a few people said this in the comments. This is the problem with the Black excellence rhetoric. It's bound up in an investment in a very small slice of people doing really well at the expense of others. The boycott is designed to force Target to have better hiring practices, to have better labor practices, to invest in Black and brown and queer, etc. businesses across the board, because they're getting locked out of economic opportunity. Now I understand what she's saying. She's saying if you boycott this thing, they'll just use it as a pretext to not let anybody else in, because they'll say y'all not selling. Well, first, maybe Target shouldn't be the place we should be looking for that. Second, that's bullshit. They know that they know their numbers. They know their internal numbers. They know the numbers dropped because people boycotted. And if they want to use it as a pretext to not have Black folk in it, then you respond by saying, well, then we won't buy unless you have Black folk here. Again, a boycott. We vote with our dollars. And when you tell us to boycott except for you, what happens is that logic prioritizes your individual well-being, or our investment in your individual well-being. Again, the Black excellence rhetoric, we need her to win, at the expense of all these other people who are getting screwed over. Now, personally, I would love to see this boycott, not just to have more diverse hiring practices or to have more diverse vendors, which I think is fine, but it still leans into a certain kind of identity politics that comes to me at the expense of a deeper political economic analysis. Let me put it more simply. We should be thinking about how to distribute wealth differently. We should be thinking about how to promote access to capital for poor people. We should be figuring out how working class people can get living wage jobs. We should be thinking about all this stuff, and our economic energy and our investments should be focused in such a way that we hold back our money, we hold back our dollars to ensure that everyday working people get living wage jobs, get access to capital. That's what we should really be thinking about if we're going to mobilize our energy. But that's another story for another time. At the core here is the idea that if we're going to boycott, you don't boycott with exceptions. You don't say, oh, we're going to boycott Target, but let's leave out the Black ones. Or we're going to boycott Walmart, but let's leave Patty Pies alone. No! Because those Black people, first of all, those Black people were in those stores are elites for the most part. Not all of them, but a lot of them are elites. So it's not that I don't care about the Black business owners. It's not that I don't care about Tabitha Brown or whomever. I do care about Tabitha Brown, and I care about her business. But I don't care about her business more than I care about the plight of everyday working people. I don't care about her plight over the masses of Black people. And we do a disservice and a disrespect to our tradition of labor organizing, our tradition of strikes, our tradition of withholding our labor when we say, well, we can have a partial boycott. We can have picks. Nah, we can't have no picks here. You imagine? We're gonna have a Montgomery bus boycott, but if you're really tired, you can sit. Oh, we have a Montgomery bus boycott, but we'll get on the bus with the Black driver. I mean, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Either you're boycotting or you're not. I'd rather y'all say, look, I don't want to boycott. I like Target too much. I don't want to boycott. I fuck with Amazon too hard. I would rather you say I'm not going to do it than to decide to redefine what it is in such a way that it has no political teeth. This is what neoliberalism pushes people into. So now everybody's walking around strutting, oh, I'm a boycotter. I'm a boycotter. I boycott Amazon, except when I need a book from so-and-so. Or I'm boycotting Target, except for when I get my Tabitha Brown paprika. What? Then you're not boycotting because Target is still making the money. Target is still getting the money from these people, all these Black people. That you think you're helping. You're helping them a little bit, but remember, the relations of capital are already topsy-turvy. That Black person, that Black business owner that you think you're helping by basically scabbing and undercutting a boycott, you're helping that Black person this much, you're helping Target this much. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And this is what Evil Genius is right. Y'all stop capping. It's Target. No way you're getting in there as a regular working class person. That's my point. It's not like, well, there are these small Black business owners that are going to get hurt. If you got a damn business where your products are being sold in Targets across the country, you're not like us. That's not a diss. I want you to succeed. I'm just saying, let's not pretend that you're the ant getting crushed. You're bigger than the ant if you're Tabitha Brown. And yes, I don't want Tabitha Brown to lose, but I'd rather have Tabitha Brown take a hit and not have a place to store, you know what I'm saying, her products, as she pointed to, if it can help the masses of people. That's what we're over here talking about. That's what we should be over here talking about. Brittany J, thank you. So, no, I'm sorry, Tabitha Brown. If there's a strike, we're not crossing the picket line for you. If there's a boycott, we're not breaking our buying practices for you. If there's resistance, we're not going to stop resisting for you. We're not. We can't, Tabitha Brown. It frustrates me so much. Someone said, y'all give me an example when a boycott actually worked this century. If you mean like the 21st century, the last 25 years, I mean, damn, that's a little bit tougher, but I mean, I could start with BDS. BDS was working. It's certainly a boycott that has worked. The pressure that's being applied to Israel is working. Starbucks, if you don't think that boycott is working right now, I think you should pay just a little bit more attention. If you look at the Nestle boycott, Anyway, we could go on and on. There's lots of boycotts. And they're working, but believe what you want. Anyway, I want to thank y'all for watching Night School. I appreciate y'all. I do. I do. I appreciate y'all so much. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. And if you're so inclined, hit that join button and become a monthly subscriber to the channel, a monthly paid member of the channel. It gives us the financial stability we need to build an independent. We ain't got to be in Amazon. We ain't got to be in Target. We ain't got to be in Walmart. The independent left-wing black media space. Please come through. Please come through and support us. Again, like buttons supports us. Just hitting the like button supports us. If you haven't hit the like button today, hit it. Hit the subscribe button. Just hitting the subscribe button supports us. Shout out to Isaac Hempseed, who just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, y'all, we're nearing the end of the month. So if you're going to gift memberships, if you're going to donate, it would go a long way to help us get through, meet our financial goals for the month. If you could support, if you could donate right now. And look, if you can't make the kind of permanent commitment of a monthly donation, you can make it one time right now. You can make it one time right now. You go to Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle and drop something in. You could drop $1 in. No amount's too small. You could drop $1 million in. No amount is too big. And somebody out there right now has $1 million or $500,000 to drop in here. Don't be shy. Somebody over here has been watching Night School from afar and appreciates what we do and wants to drop $10,000 or $20,000 in here, or maybe $50,000. Please do it. Consider it your payment for the year, for 2 years, for 10 years, whatever. Please drop it in. We could use the support right now. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. I'm begging you right about now. But for the rest of you, we're asking that if everybody right now, as the tuition payment for the month, could drop $10 in, just $10 for all this knowledge you get for a whole month. If everybody could drop $10 in on Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle, $10, we'd be able to meet our financial goals for the month. That's right. If everybody watching could drop $10 in, we meet our financial goals for the month. I'm asking you to consider it. But again, no amount's too small. So drop in what you can, do what you can. Most of all, keep liking the work, keep sharing the work. And of course, most of all, keep studying the work, because that's what Night School is all about. Peace.